Hello and welcome. I'm Andrea Kennedy, and this is the Mainstream Reiki YouTube channel. I'm really glad that you're here for this video today because it's a really common question that Reiki teachers everywhere, I'm sure, hear. This will be part of my Reiki Basics playlist series, and I have other playlists here too, namely healing videos for all sorts of issues and even a chakra healing series that you might want to check out. Let's go ahead and delve into the question, which is, can you lose the ability to channel Reiki once you've learned and been attuned? And then furthermore, do you need to retake your training then to reestablish a connection if it's lost? Let's take a look at this. I'm going to answer this sort of in two ways. I'm going to say, technically speaking, anyone who takes a Reiki class and is attuned to the energy with their Reiki master teacher, that is for life. The connection has been established and it is there. What you do after the attunement to develop your relationship with Reiki is entirely up to you. And oftentimes, students come to class and they're very excited about learning Reiki, and they have big plans for everything that they're going to do after class. And many of them leave the class and begin self-reiki and begin to weave Reiki into their lives. And even if they do that, sometimes life gets in the way, and then they find themselves that they're practicing less and less. This may last for any length of time, really, even years. And then they decide, something in them sort of stirs, and they decide, I'm going to start doing Reiki more again. Why not? But then when they go to practice again, whether it's after a short break or a long break, they'll often not feel as enthusiastic about it. And one of the big reasons they don't is often the sensitivity of the energy has diminished for them. So whether they offer the Reiki to themselves or other people, it just doesn't seem as strong as it was before. In my experience, there are two reasons for this. Number one, the energy, that Reiki energy flowing through us, is sort of like a muscle in the body. If we don't use the muscle, we still have the muscle and it can do work for us. But if we don't use it, it stays a bit puny and doesn't really develop and can't really do more work or lift anything heavier. It's kind of just stuck in a more of a utilitarian mode. All right, it's just kind of there. Now, for a person who wants to strengthen that muscle, they can do exercises and lifting and things like this to build the muscle. The muscle will grow stronger, it'll grow healthier, and it'll be able to actually do more work for the person. It'll be more noticeable in the body. It might even, stand out from the rest of the body. It might bulge a little bit because it's so big and strong. So it's noticeable then. We can sense it in new ways. Now, back to the Reiki example, if we have sort of moved away from regular Reiki practice, it's sort of like a shriveling of the muscle in the body. Of course, we still have it there, but it isn't something that we notice, we don't pay attention to. It's just sort of there. Quite honestly, if we want to have strong Reiki energy and feel it flowing and really have the sensation of the energy, it takes practice. It takes us in the flow of the energy regularly to help build a relationship with the energy, to trust the Reiki. And, as we do that, our doubts about the practice fade. I know I was very skeptical in the beginning, and I know other people are as well. And they even doubt that the Reiki's working, even if they feel some sensations. I'm sure you could imagine the level of doubt someone would have if they didn't have much sensation at all. And it is a bit ironic that the way to increase the ability to feel the Reiki is to do Reiki, is to practice Reiki. Another way to gauge this, even if you're not very sensitive to Reiki, is what the other person is feeling. And so oftentimes our experiences are different, and we might feel that we're not channeling very much, but they're really feeling a lot as receivers of the Reiki energy. So it's always nice to practice with other people and get feedback. And that can go a really long way into helping you believe that you still are, in fact, connected to the Reiki energy. I mentioned there were two reasons that it might seem that the Reiki has sort of unplugged from you. And that second reason is our minds. And I've already touched on this a little bit about doubt, but in another sense, if we know we haven't stuck with our Reiki practice, we can sort of create a belief in our minds that because we left Reiki, it left us. Take that one step further, and it can feel as though if we sort of left Reiki by the wayside, we abandoned Reiki, so to speak, maybe we deserve to be punished because we didn't be grateful for Reiki or thankful about this gift of Reiki. And so maybe we don't deserve to have the Reiki keep connection with us. If a person develops any sort of beliefs around that, which I think are pretty common, then that will further diminish their feeling of connection with the energy. I hope that can explain a little bit about this illusion of being separated from the Reiki energy. On one hand, it is an illusion because we all are still connected to the energy. But again, it takes our investment of practice in order to, number one, believe that we're still connected and worthy of that connection. And number two, to strengthen the feel, to strengthen the relationship there. We just have to be in the energy. Confessions of a Reiki Master time here. I was one of those people. I learned Reiki 1. I practiced for a bit, and then I let it kind of drop away for a while. Life got in the way. I had little children come into my life, and, we moved and all of that. And what I will say is I myself doubted I was still connected to the energy, and I needed something else to help me feel more connected. I didn't feel like I could just begin practicing and that was enough. Now, that's up to any individual person to decide how to proceed there. Now, I know had I stuck with it and just kept practicing, I believe that I would have continued. I would have been able to feel more and more, and that connection, I would have felt stronger, also mentally believing I was connected. Again, I think there's two sides to that. But anyway, what I ended up doing was I took the next class for myself. I had very strong internal guidance that I needed to complete my Reiki training. That resonated with me when that thought appeared in my mind. And so I went and I followed that. Now, sometimes that guidance might not come to you. What are your choices there? Well, you could just simply get back into regular practice. You could totally do that. Another option, if your teacher's available, is you might get together with your Reiki master teacher and have a discussion about this, and perhaps they would offer Reiju, repeating of the attunement that you had previously. So you would still be at the same level of practice, but you would be reattuned. Now, some people would say, why reattune? You're already tuned into the energy. You've already had the attunement. It's not necessary. And what I would say to that is Usui Sensei, every time he would meet with his students, he would repeat Reiju for them, reattuning them. And the reason he did this was to help heal them because it has healing effect, but also to help strengthen their Reiki energy that they were able to channel. And so he would repeat that. And I do that with my own students when we meet for Reiki shares. I will offer them the attunements that at their level. Now, I want to go on and say you don't have to even stay in your own style of Reiki if you choose to move on and take another class. So the options for continued coursework would be, as I stated, you could go back to your master teacher. You could repeat some training, perhaps, and repeat Reiju, your attunement, and that might help jumpstart you and get you excited again to re-enter your practice with a sort of freshness. And another option would be that you move on. So if you're really sure that you want to continue on the Reiki journey and you feel guided to do so, maybe you take the next class. So if you were just Reiki 1, maybe consider taking the Reiki 2 class and maybe learning more about Reiki and delving deeper would help both solidify your belief in the fact that you can channel Reiki, but also, again, excite you into more of a regular practice. Another option would be choose a different teacher. Take a Reiki class from another teacher. It could be the same style, it could be a different style. I've taken Reiki from different teachers throughout the years, and I like doing that because I think that I learn different takes on the material. I learn different techniques, perhaps, but it's always a neat experience to find other teachers and learn from them, especially if you ever consider teaching other people Reiki. I think taking a variety of Reiki classes is very helpful so that you can learn different things, but also see different teaching styles and make better choices about how you might instruct your own students. The bottom line here is you're always connected to Reiki once you connect with Reiki through attunement. However, we can mentally sort of convince ourselves that we're sort of divergent from the Reiki path and maybe separated from it. Please just know life happens and sometimes you just don't practice as regularly as you might. One of the joys of Reiki is it always welcomes you back with open arms. It is always there, welcoming you back, waiting patiently. And when you're ready, you can rejoin your Reiki path. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have other questions you'd like me to answer here on the channel, please let me know down in the comments because I want to make the videos you want to watch. Until next time, I wish you the highest Reiki blessings. You take care.